Hi there. Welcome to today's podcast. Thanks for joining me today. It's an interesting time as I'm recording this podcast. Recently just dropped my son's off at high school. So now both in high school, as crazy as that sounds, and one is going to be a senior and one's going to be a freshman. So they're now 1 year together in high school, which is crazy. And it's so cliche, but time does fly and it's going to keep on speeding up. And so I definitely appreciate and have some gratitude on each and every day and trying to stay present and enjoy what we can and try not to stress all the time. But, as we're getting into college and thinking about for my older son, this has become a big deal in our house as if anyone who's listening also has people getting close to college or in college. I mean, it can be a very stressful time for families and in the environment we live in. At the time of this recording, there's a lot of uncertainty with the economy and kind of job situations as kids are coming out of college. So, we're not going to get into a lot of those details. But what I wanted to share for you in this episode, hopefully it will help you think through these sorts of very potentially stressful times about thinking about our kids' futures and helping them grow and mature. It's a really interesting time. We're not often taught how to deal with these things. We certainly aren't taught around how to manage our finances well all the time. And so to combat an idea of like a big investment like going to college just can be so daunting for folks. And so today I want to kind of cover kind of how our journey is going with our families. Hopefully can take something from it to use within your world too. And we're learning along the way too. It's an interesting experience and a lot of unique learnings as I'm going through it. And my wife and I are kind of experienced with our son. And so, but we start off with the idea that it is an investment. And obviously, me being in the financial world, it's kind of probably a natural thought to kind of think of it that way. But it is. You look at the price tag of colleges these days; they can be astronomical. You can get up in the $70,000, $80,000 for a year of college for some. And so it is very important to kind of think of it that way. And just like any investment we talk about, whether it be your business, real estate, stocks, and bonds, whatever it is, that the more you know about it, the better informed you'll be able to be with that investment and hopefully reduce the risk that it won't work out. So it's same thing. I think I'll look at education and hopefully with education, this is a building block for our children to recognize that this is just this is a kind of a evolution in their learning journey. And hopefully they'll be learning and getting educated in some form or fashion for the rest of their lives. And there's so much to learn. It's impossible to learn it all. And so this is hopefully gets them in the world of enjoying learning and experiencing it. And so this is a starting point. So, with that in mind, looking at the education, the investment side of things, I think the first thing that, we have started to do as a family is to really help our son figure out like, what is it that he wants to gain from college? Yes, in his stage, I don't think he really knows what he wants to do in his career. And for 17-year-olds, it's probably hard. I mean, some maybe have an extreme focus in a certain area or recognize their passions in life. But frankly, I think there's people that I come across in their 40s and 50s haven't really figured that out. And so to have someone who's 17 still only have seen and experienced a small amount in the world to know where their passions lie is probably very difficult. So what we're trying to do and what we've helped them explore is kind of just getting clues of what maybe have been interest to him in terms of topics or subjects or environments like in his school to figure out where would he like to spend time learning, right? What kind of environment? And certainly what topics, right? Topics are it's almost like an itch. Sometimes things that just are naturally draw some curiosities to you and you itch them a bit. You dig a little deeper and see if it's still there. Is it continue to propel you into learning more and exploring more. And so those are areas we're trying to help him explore for himself, right? We can't dictate when we don't want to dictate what he should do or what we expect for him. His expectations need to come from himself. And so we're helping them explore his strengths, like things like strength finders, or which I highly encourage for kids. And it was really eye-opening to kind of see the things that he was learning about himself. And I think that's where a lot of this attention has been. We've put a lot of attention to it to help him explore himself and use this as just another learning tool in his belt that he can use as he migrates into exploring colleges, and frankly, even thinking about if college isn't the right fit, and whether it's what are options to do in between. Maybe he doesn't go to college right away. So those are still up in the air, and I think it's good to explore them. It's frankly a training in helping people think. I think about education quite a bit in terms of you can learn facts, and I was a biology guy initially, and I was really good at learning facts and complex systems, and it was just a natural thing for me. I just work hard at it, but I don't think it taught me how to think all that well. It just helped me memorize things, and so I think this whole journey itself is to get into college. It's ironic. It's a learning exercise to help make decisions, think through things, analyze things, and help people think about a topic or decision in more detail, and to hopefully get to optimal solutions and decisions. So I look at it that way. So it's a big learning curve for everyone involved. And my wife's been more wrapped up in looking at all the analytics around schools and costs and timelines, and helping. She's great at that kind of stuff, helping us keep on track. But really, this is where we are in terms of with him kind of just figuring out kind of environments and the things he wants to study. And it's coming along quite well, I think. I think it's still early, but I think he's poised to hopefully make a better decision around the types of environments. And then we'll go visit more and have him experience those. But that's where a lot of our attention has been centered, just helping him to explore himself. Because what I do know is that my expectations really don't matter from my lens. It's really about him and his own personal journey, his ownership of it, and having him control his own destiny. And I talk to him often about that, because that's all we can really control, right? Our own sort of direction in life. There's so many variables that are out of our control, but these are things that we can take steps we can take control by learning more, experiencing things, and trying to find our own path in this. So that's kind of the big sort of area of investing time to learn about the whole process, learn about environments that are best, and areas of study that he just has passion for. So that's a really time-consuming area. Obviously, the second part about this is trying to finance these things. And, we have some podcasts from other guests that talk about different ways to financing and the costs associated. And, we're not going to go deep into there, other than to highlight again that the approach we're taking, and, you could take a couple different approaches. One is you don't want your kids to take on loans, right, and be indebted coming out of school. So that's one approach. I've heard that from a lot of folks, where they're going to spend a lot of the money they've saved up, or maybe they're saving on the side, and they're going to use those funds and just hand them off to the colleges. And that's the investment for their kids, and set them on their way, and then they're out of school with no debt. And I can understand that philosophy, and it's something that I know some people are just absolutely compelled to do, and there's nothing wrong with it, and it's a noble thing you're doing for your children, and hopefully you set them on the way down to a tremendous path to build and save their own wealth as they graduate college or university with limited debt. The approach we're taking is slightly different, and this is one where my wife and I may not always be eye to eye on this, but we're getting closer. Is what I want for my children in this is because I want them to have some ownership in it, I want them to have some skin in the game. This is an investment in their own future. And what I do believe is, once you have skin in the game and money in the game, I think there's a different meaning that comes with it. I've seen it even when I put some money into a program, or buy a book or whatever. I'm more compelled to invest my time and energy behind it, because I have my own money in the game, so to speak, or resources. And so that's the philosophy we're taking with it, with our children, is we want them to share in the investment in this, and obviously researching things and understanding if it's right for you or not, but also the financial part, right? And there's ways that we can go about doing this. Obviously, taking private loans if necessary. But, obviously we have pools of money we built within our own family bank that we can lend to our kids as needed for education if they feel it's worthy of the investment. And they have their own sort of segment of the family bank that they can use themselves to pay for it. And we'll chip in, a portion of their education. So we go in as partners to this. And so we're going to contribute our share, and then we'll allow our sons to help think through how they want to fund their share and be partners in this endeavor, because I really feel it helps them to understand the importance of deploying capital into profitable things like themselves. And hopefully that's something, that's going to be ingrained in them for the rest of their lives, to continue to invest in themselves. I always say our number one asset is us and our ability to produce and earn and evolve and create. And I want our kids to feel comfortable that they should invest in themselves for the rest of their lives. And it's probably the best investment you're going to make, whether you're trying to grow your business or enhance yourselves in your jobs to be more valuable. And so that's the road we're taking in terms of sharing this cost with them, so they can understand the financing decisions that come along with it and help them think through this. So again, this is another exercise to help them think through this process and what it means to invest this kind of money in themselves and their futures, and whether it's worth it, and help them make the best decisions on it. And so we'll see how that goes forward. But that's our approach with this, to help them see how significant this is of an investment and make some wise decisions around it and have some skin in the game. There's a story that I always like to share with folks that was centered on a wealthy father was tells his son, when I pass, I'm going to give you ownership of the business, but you need to earn $10,000 and bring that back to me to show that you have enough dedication and ability to earn on your own, and I'll give you eventually control of my businesses. So the son goes to their banker and says, hey, loan me $10,000. I'll give you a high interest rate when I pay this back, if you can just give it to me. And so the banker gives him the money, and the son gives it to the father, and the father proceeds to throw it into the fireplace. And he says, I know you didn't earn that money, so go work again for that money, and then this deal's still good. So the son was just confused. Okay, the banker must have ratted him out. He told his father, and so he goes to a close friend of his, and he says, give me $10,000, and I'll double your money in a week. I just need this, and then we'll be good. So the friend loans him the money, gives it to his father again. Father proceeds to throw it into the fireplace again. He says, I know you didn't earn this money, so again, go back and go earn it and be honest with it, and then the deal is solid. Well, he says, okay, all right. So I'm never going to get this over my dad, so I'm going to go earn it. So he earns it, works his tail off, takes some time. He works and pushes to make all this money, and he hands it to the father, and the father proceeds to throw it into the fire again. And then the son chases after the dollars in the fireplace, gets it out, stamps it out, and then the father says, now I know you earned this money. And so it really is, to me, a tremendous lesson to understand that once we earn these things in life and achievements and our wealth, it has a different meaning. It has for me personally. And I know for those who are listening, maybe you feel the same way. But this is why having our children sort of experience these things and take ownership of it, I think, one, teaches them vital lessons around investing in themselves and growing and taking responsibility. But, it gives them also the satisfaction, I think, that they achieve these things with their own minds and hands. And I think it has more meaning, right? And likely are going to take it more seriously and value it more, certainly when it comes to money. So that's all I want to share in this podcast. And I hope this was helpful to give you a little lens on thinking about funding and education a little bit differently, and what it helps to maybe teach our children too around making better investment decisions and taking ownership of their future. Because ultimately, as parents, I think we all want our kids to be independent and take ownership of their lives and reach their potential in this world. We have so much hope for them, and we know we can't always do it for them. And giving them the strength and the courage to do it is what's going to allow them to propel themselves to greater heights. And I think in the end, they'll benefit greatly from it. And, hopefully they'll appreciate us giving them the opportunity and to make decisions on their own and take ownership of it. And, and they'll probably feel more value to their accomplishments, especially if they're owning it. So appreciate it. If anyone wants to talk more about these things in their own situation, certainly love to chat with you, share more details of what we're doing with it and how it might help shape what you're doing with your kids and your personal finances. Always love a conversation. So we'll see you on the next podcast.
Thanks for joining me on this episode today. I really am grateful for you as listeners to the Perennial Pride podcast. I hope you're getting some tremendous value out of it and hopefully pushing you along your journey to financial freedom. I put this podcast together really to help you get more educated around your finances so that you feel empowered to live the life that you really want. And if you like the content that you heard today or watched, then I would encourage you to go to my website, perennialpride.com. There's tons of other content there. And you can access my book, Wealth Beyond the Numbers. You can buy it there on my website. It's a aggregation of a lot of great tips and tools I've learned to not only build my wealth in my accounts, but build wealth in my life and abundance and joy, and something that has a lot of my experiences in the journey that I've been on personally. Hopefully that can be also of value to you as you sort of move forward. So thanks again for being a Perennial Pride listener, and we'll see you on the next episode.